Greetings, I am Liz.
And I am Scandal.
And
let's play a game together. Yes.
Alright, so it's been a little bit of time between this episode and the last one. Just, a couple days. And for us playing it. I wanted to point out that as much as they're like, oh, yes, our main man here who's in charge of the finance and who's trying to take care of the business side of the arcade drives this Scooby-Doo mystery machine.
He really does. And also, again, so we did go back and I really did learn that, yes, he's had facial hair the entire time. But then I also laughed because I found the Arcade Spirits official Twitter and they had like a drawing that they did where he no longer has facial hair.
Yeah,
so it seems like even they have forgotten that their own character has facial hair.
Or perhaps
he
something
shaved.
Edgy. He shaved. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting contrast of I'm super business-minded and I own an adorable, cheap, old-school nerd machine.
Yes, sounds about right.
All right. Glad to see these two getting along better. Even if Naomi kept preemptively attacking him along the way, there, with the rain pounding down on the van roof, conversation gets a bit difficult. Gradually, pardon me, everybody resumes fiddling about with their phones, knitting, or driving.
Except I would not necessarily recommend that in terms of just, like, the driver. Like, talking to the driver during
Can
a
be
storm.
helpful.
Yes.
But on the other hand, some people need to focus when they're driving through a storm, so it depends on your individual driver.
I was about to say, and also depends on how bad your storm is.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alright.
Leaving me to wonder, also, cheap car if the noise is that loud kind of
No
thing.
shit.
Like, anyway.
Actually, that was my other thought, too. I was like, how cheap
Exactly.
is this car?
Where is this auction and or raid happening anyway? We've been driving for some time, leaving the city far behind. And what would a massive trove of arcade games be doing this far out in the sticks in a mansion? Mansions are always far away from the main area of things.
I have to say something. It's
Go
been
for
driving me crazy since we got into the scene, and I finally noticed it like midway through
Please
the first.
buckle up! Oh, sorry.
That has been driving me nuts, though, as far as I actually understand, there's some complicated relationships with seat belts, but that's okay. So
What do you got?
our main character's freaking right eye on your left-hand side has been twitching, and it's been driving me crazy.
Okay.
And it keeps spasming, and I'm like, is our character okay? Are we okay?
The problem I have is that they have their arm out the window in a heavy rainstorm, so that was me.
Isn't that weird?
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. We're fine. Maybe it's some closed down roller rink or an old bowling alley. I thought they literally said like mansion or, it's okay, fine. Or, yeah. Or maybe it's a creepy old house that's likely haunted by exactly 87,194 ghosts.
I feel like that is a reference. What is that a reference to?
I don't know, but that's okay. The classic scandal looking place. So majestically awful.
Honestly, I love that, and that's amazing. I would be fucking delighted.
I
would
too.
probably also be annoyed, though, because I'm like, this is for work, and oh my god, this is either edgy or dumb or hilarious. Like, because when you're in work mode, there's usually this thing where you're just kind of like, I'm just here.
I'm just here, and sometimes you know that you won't have permission to enjoy anything the way you want to.
Yeah.
So you just don't really try.
So you shut yourself down, basically.
On the other hand, that doesn't look like a mansion. That looks like a castle, because that looks like brick.
Like, right?
That looks like a castle. Gavin pulls up alongside any number of other vans and trucks. You're a little late, it seems.
I know.
Good grief. Is this really the auction site?
Creepy. Definitely creepy. At least an 8 on the creepometer. An old home has character, I feel. Let's not judge it by the exterior, shall we?
And the fact that it now looks like nighttime, even though we were driving there right after lunchtime.
This reminds me...
Did we really drive for like 4 hours, or is the storm that dark?
I think it might be the storm, because I have actually been in a storm like that
storms
several years ago.
Just about
when I was driving with my mother, actually, along one of the big main highways in Nevada. And it was just... boom, this intensive, people were pulling off the sides of the road. It was awful on a highway, huge, big interstate, and just people were just like, nope, 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 nope. And my mom and I went through it, and it didn't last very long at all, but we looked back, and I was like, Mom, it's tiny. It was this little isolated area, and I guess I'm saying little relatively, but probably with about like a mile or two wide, or like in a circle, like diameter-wise, and it was just wild. It was that just little area, and just part of it was over the highway, and that was it.
Part of the area of Colorado that I grew up in has really weird rainstorms sometimes because of how the mountains are near it. And there's really this experience of several times during my childhood, we drove into a wall of rain.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was completely, like it wasn't completely sunny, because you could see the clouds on half the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, but it was a nice sunny day, and you could see the clouds on half the sky, and then you're driving down the road, and the shadow just gets darker and darker and darker in front of you as you move towards it, and you realize that the road goes from, I am completely dry, to at about 6 inches, I am flooded, and you hit this wall of rain.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I actually had the same thing happen in Pocatello, but also, like, not just with rain, when I lived in Pocatello, Idaho, but also with, like, snow. Like, you just wall of snow. And it's really weird.
With all speed, the group hurries inside to get away from the weather. And,
Ooh,
wow,
dust.
it's really nice in here. Like, I know it looks messy, but, like, that architecture looks very clean. I know there's a crack in the wall, okay, but, like, I'm looking at the woodwork on the stairs, which is one of the first things often to go.
Nice.
And also, your floor looks great. So, a large group has already gathered in the foyer of the crumbling estate, but one rushes forward to greet us in a blur as the others pay little mind.
Greetings,
Oh
friends.
my God.
I love you!
I love him.
I-
He's beautiful. Hamza.
Hamza.
Hamza welcomes our friends from the Funplex. Welcome, welcome.
You look amazing.
Gavin, stalwart as ever. Naomi, love what you've done with your hair. Miss Francine, a beauty surpassed only by your wisdom.
You're adorable.
You're very cute. Oh, fresh.
And
a new player, it seems. Who might you be?
last scandal.
I see. Greetings to you and yours. I am known as Hamza, seeker of antiquity, finder of things lost, player of games.
You are amazingly performative.
Okay, I
So
do not know how
theatrical.
sensitive this is in regards to a portrayal. I can't really have necessarily an opinion about it. I would like to think that it is, because I love the fact that it's been like, oh yes, I look like I'm going to be classically that exotic character, and going, by the way, I fucking love games.
Yep.
Like, that is so,
It's so
like,
good.
by the way, I'm a person, excuse me.
And by the way, it's not like people in other countries, and even when they're wearing their local
Garb?
don't play video games or use iPhones or anything like that.
Oh,
There's
God.
this weird, like, idea in America that you don't have people, you know, who are dressed in... What?
If you ever want to actually see this in action, go look up actually original photographs of Native Americans. So they actually talk about this. It was a thing that I learned about. I don't believe I actually learned it in high school, because there's a lot of shit that they don't teach you because colonialism in America.
But a few
Am I
years
right?
ago.
But it was literally where they were talking about going. They literally painted out on the original pictures, or they made copies basically, where they got rid of the modern looking stuff because they didn't want to put people off.
And they've apparently done this with a lot of photos from other parts of the world back in the day, or they would literally, you know, to have people pose without them when they're taking pictures of, even sometimes now with, whether it's, you know, people who are still living in tribal experiences like Aboriginals.
Mongolia.
And you know, places in Mongolia and stuff like that. And they'll be like, whatever they have when they have brightly colored plastic things or metal things that were, you know, forged or, you know, from, you know, the city or whatever. They're just like, yeah, let's not have you have any of those in the picture. Let's just act like you are pure. And it's like, it's fine.
And that's actually been a real problem.
And welcome to, well, not my home, but a place where Hamza shall provide hospitality regardless.
Yeah, he does have a food table there.
He does.
I noticed the food table because I love food. Oh,
Kind of a dumb.
kind of a dumb business. Wow! Seeker of Antiquity is antique. Thank you for your gracious invitation. I'm going to be the one to speak.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's talking to me,
Yes,
which
he
helps,
is.
but I was just like, whoa. Let's just do Seeker of Antiquity. 19,
Is 1980X?
80X is antique.
Yes.
So I'm an antique. I was unaware
Reagan?
Reagan-era amusement machines were antique, on par with the Turin Shroud.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
What a reference. Okay, so if I remember correctly, the Turin Shroud is supposed to actually be a religious holy artifact, where it's considered to be a veil that has the impression of the face of Christ upon it. The Turin Shroud, if I
That
remember
might
correctly.
be the Turin Shroud. There's a couple of shrouds, but it is definitely a religious holy artifact.
Yes.
Hi. Oh my God. So do we get to date him? Because that could be hilarious.
I don't think so. But
I don't think so
alas.
either.
You have fire indeed, but rest assured, many a holy grail may lurk in the arcade below. You may even find your own relic of a holy nature by eve's end.
Aye.
Alas, I have not a moment to enjoy your fine company, Eli Scandal, but perhaps later. But for now, it is time.
It's time!
Oh my
Clapping
God.
twice for attention Hamza rallies a small crowd in the room to begin the proceedings. He does actually have a good sense of, oh God, we're late. And he's like, I had everyone wait up here. No one is getting a head start on anyone else. This is my show.
He's like, this is my party. Mm-hmm. Friends, companions, longtime allies of the noble art of the arcade, welcome. Welcome to Donna Wood.
All right. If that's what you named your castle, that's fine.
That was the name of the estate. Like, honestly, I love this, of the thing of going, like, I'm going to be a shit and I will perform this role of complete dumbassery, like, racism in the middle of it, because I can. Because this really is kind of, like, a stereotype, as far as I'm assuming. It might not be, though, like, that kind of thing, but it feels like it to me, because I've watched so many older movies where they're like, everyone, come into the room. You know, it's...
I don't know.
Its story begins nearly 30 years ago, when legendary pop musician Donna Michaels, singer of such hits such as Thrilling and Mama Don't Mope, did a stately pleasure dome decree.
Mama Don't Mope. I love that.
Here, the reclusive idol crafted a private amusement park, a petting zoo, and an arcade. Alas, she could only enjoy this paradise for a short 10 years before her tragic death, which would be actually a way to explain the portrait on the back there, by the way, guys. Needless to say, the estate has fallen on hard times ever since. In this year, it shall be torn down to make way for condominiums.
Because it wasn't handled by anyone
Poor
in a very,
thing.
in a maintained kind of way.
No.
The
But
pigeon on the stairs is
not
great.
before we have our
Friends,
say.
Those games that Donna Michaels cherished still lurk one floor below, ready to be rescued from such a terrible fate. It is our moral imperative to do so.
They can't be torn down and thrown away like so much refuse.
You're adorable.
I have paid the estate owners a princely sum for the entire lot. Now, Hamza parcels them out to you. By all means, browse the collection. See which pieces sing out to you.
Oh, dear Lord.
On the far table, you shall find refreshments, grapes, sparkling wine, and delicacies from my travels.
Uh-huh.
Mingle, cavort, and we shall begin the auction in 1 hour's time.
I'm going for the food and then downstairs. That
No
would be me.
kidding.
Indeed. Lavishly arranged. That does not look lavish. I mean, okay.
You see where the wine is, everybody? I love the non-visible wine. That's my favorite part.
I was going to say,
Do you
unless
think
the
it's the
wine,
plates?
I was going to say, comes out of a dispenser that is under the flowers, which would be
It
extra.
is the flower pots.
It is the flower pots. You just, like, the flowers are in a separate little tube inside there, one of those little contained vases, and you just pour it. Nonetheless, that'd be some kind of edgy. That'd be hilarious. I'll say, but even as a poor person who's super excited, my history, anyways, I'm a little more average than poor now. I was going to say, about food and free food, and I still have that little kid, free food, even if it's something I don't want. My initial response is, yay. I don't ever describe it as lavish. And also, like, that does not look lavish, but that's fine. So we understand that for the lies in the game, that's lavish. Indeed, a lavishly arranged table that probably cost more than a single arcade game to put together is descended upon by the invitees soon after. I feel like I'm attending some ancient Roman celebration of debauchery and gluttony, not an arcade raid, or an arcade auction, or whatever.
Donna Michaels! I knew it! I should have recognized Donna Wood when we pulled in, but it was raining too hard.
Who?
You've never heard of Donna Michaels? She was the hottest musical act of 1980X!
Are we trying to basically do like a Dolly Parton, Dollywood kind of thing? I don't know.
I don't know, maybe.
Naomi, I was born in 1990X.
I'm totally plugging my phone into the van stereo so we can blast Girls Just Want to Play Games all the way home.
Yep. We
It
are in
is.
an alternate reality. I thought it was supposed to be more like Donna Summers.
I think there is a couple of mishmashes here, but it's like, girls just want to play games.
Well,
oh,
and that one's a
girls
Cyndi Lauper
just
song,
wanna...
of
yeah.
course. I'll say, yeah, it's a mix.
But first, I'm going to go check out the cabinets in her arcade. I'm not really into mingling. Later!
She dashes off with all speed. It's all speed!
All speed ahead!
Heading for the stairs leading below. I suppose I should go network a bit. Hamza's events always draw an interesting crowd of rival arcade owners.
Oh dear, yes.
Heading for the foodstuffs, Gavin arranges himself a plate so he has an excuse to hang around and eavesdrop on the other collectors. Leaving me to, do stuff.
I love him. I'm going to say this out loud to you, but probably just so you know where we are because
And what I'm doing.
you are incredibly, like... Whoa.
You're very new to this, just so
Yes.
you know what's going on. Now I see why Ashley was bored at these events. Gavin schmoozes, Naomi analyzes finds, and Francine's already napping in a chair. I've got nothing to do. Actually, you could do a lot of things, but that's okay. I am the one that would do a lot of things and going, if I didn't feel comfortable or interested to go look at the games at all, I'd be like, I'm just going to look at the rest of the house.
Right?
Like, I literally would. Also, the continually falling sawdust just bothers me, or like dust. Like, I know it's
Yeah.
atmospheric, but it doesn't stop. All right.
Yeah, I was actually, the second I saw it, I will admit, I actually kind of went, oh dear, is this one of those repeating? Yeah, and then it kept going, and I went,
I feel like it should be
That's
slowly
unfortunate.
building up a pile on the floor.
Right.
It's fine, though. Well, when in doubt, find someone who knows what they're doing and stick to them like glue. Do you reckon anyone knows anyone here? Schmooze alongside Gavin. You know what? I don't feel very connected to the industry yet. And I definitely don't feel like we're really connected to, like, saving the arcade, as we've just had a crisis of self. Let's just go, because browsing the games with Naomi can be a very chill activity and have a lot of nostalgia in it, potentially.
However, we do know, though, that Naomi is really into, basically, like, preserving and information, and she is a big nerd.
Just because we go down there doesn't mean we have to talk to her, but I assume the game will make us talk to her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I am master at, this is a person I am working with, and I will do something alongside them without creating conversation.
I mean, I honestly thought that, too, but I also thought the schmoozing alongside Gavin would be interesting just because, you know, it could be interesting. Like, because you don't have to be invested in what's going on. Like, I love the implication here of going, well, those are the only reasons you'd want to go around them. And I'm like, but why? Like you pointed out, going, I can just go hang out with Naomi and just go check stuff out and basically derail her into things that I potentially find more interesting or something
or I
can
don't
attach
even
to.
have to hang out with
her.
Naomi. I can
Yeah.
literally browse the games by my lonesome while she's there.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's I think something a lot of people forget, is that if you go shopping with somebody, you can literally do the experience without interacting with them.
Yeah.
If you both go to, you know, the supply room together, you don't have to talk to each other. It doesn't have to be with Naomi. You can literally just go look yourself.
It's called companionable silence.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we would
That's
go,
fine.
basically what I've done so far, go along with Naomi.
I
I'm really not interested in the arcade version of Game of Thrones. Going on up here. Gavin can handle these guys.
I'm also like, it's interesting that Gavin is the logical one and the one who handles all the business, but to me, I'm like mentally going, that doesn't always mean that you're good actually at handling
and a
people.
lot of social. That's
Like,
usually why
that was
there's-
like our boss. So we worked with a guy who very distinctly, he was very good as far as we understood. Really, like, he really just liked figuring out business angles. He wasn't necessarily like a people person all
Nope,
that much.
not at
like,
all.
and
There was a number of
He was
times
friendly. Don't get
that
me wrong.
We'd worked with people, or that I've worked with people especially, that they were, really, really good in one area, but it did not
Transfer.
equate to being good in another area.
Oh my god, our safety guy was a nightmare. He was
was.
so bad, like
He
interpersonal
was
relationships.
An
he was awful.
interpersonal asshole.
Yes.
And he was inappropriate, and he was aggressive, and he was overbearing, and like he was extremely judgmental and a very sensitive ego. Like, he just wouldn't speak to me for an entire month one time because of a slight confusion. And like, it's just fine. Anyway, but he was amazing at safety.
Oh,
Kicked
yeah.
ass at safety. He knew his stuff like nothing else.
He was very dedicated, extremely respected in that
All
way.
right,
Like
Gavin can handle these guys. And the thing is if you have a small enough business, everyone has to double team on their jobs, has to pull triple or, double, triple, or quadruple duty on various different things because all those positions have to be filled.
Yeah.
And anyway, I want to see this legendary arcade Hamza was talking up, so I head downstairs to join Naomi. There's also no guarantee that no one else went down there.
That was actually literally what I just said to myself.
Huh. Whoa. The Fallen Over game is a little weird. The couple of Fallen Over games is a little weird, unless people were just shoving stuff around after the estate was abandoned.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this a private collection or a full-fledged arcade? I was expecting a handful of games and a pool table or something, but this is a home theater. I don't think I would expect folding chairs, like, in the future, especially with the height of things, unless it was like sometimes we pull out the games to do other things. I would expect big plushy, big cushy seats.
So I'm also having a thing though going, there are HD TV, but that's that. I was kind of having that weird thing going, like, that seems a little.
Also, if this is a gaming arcade, there doesn't seem to be set up any consoles or anything. They must have torn them down over there.
Or we're all just watching live previews of all the gamers. Does that make sense?
Could be, but you still have to have more cords than that.
But I'm also wondering, basically, though, how technology basically advanced, for streaming or being able to have a game you're playing over here that
Is
shows
it
up on the big
all
screen.
completely wireless? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is easily 3 times larger than the Funplex itself. Even coated in dust and disrepair, it's awe-inspiring. And it's also hard to find anyone in this maze of tightly packed games. Invitees are browsing the available stock, to decide what's worth bidding on, making it crowded as well. I like that there are other people down here. Thank you. That makes sense. But eventually I locate Naomi. Why are we specifically going with Naomi instead of just going down and looking?
Because dating.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, so again, as much as I like appreciate, like I've kind of frustrated. I'm not saying that you can't make friends with these characters, but I find it interesting that you really have to only pick scenarios in reference to specific characters, which makes this kind of difficult to sort of, like, I feel, in order to just kind of feel like you can, you know, wander around and just figure stuff out. Like, it always has to be framed by spending
Other
time
people.
with someone else.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that, and it's been a little bit wild. All right. But eventually, I locate Naomi, practically cuddling a narrow-looking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Oh, I'm sorry, TMNT machine. And...
Oh, heart! So thank you very much, guys, though, for joining us. In the next one, we are going to deal more with Naomi having her girl crush on the TMNT machine.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. We've got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!